Meow! All you radical dudes and dudettes, Toys is here, and I'm back yet again to give you guys another fresh look, and this time it comes courtesy of my friends over at Mondo. We are checking out their brand new 1/6 scale Batman the Animated Series Catwoman action figure, and of course, this is based primarily upon the episode, the two-part episode, The Cat and the Claw. A great introduction for me for Catwoman back in the day. Awesome to see her dynamic and how she was portrayed on the animated series. But the box art, the packaging on this figure is simply amazing. When I pulled it out, I was like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. Very nice incorporation of Gotham City into the bat symbol. And of course, you have the Phantom City creative artwork. This just beautiful rendition of Catwoman on the box. You flip open the top part of it and you get to see the figure within, all nicely nestled, all the different parts and accessories. You get the quote, "Don't tell me you're my very own private probation officer. How often would you like me to check in?" I think it should have said, "Never trifle with the affections of a woman." That to me is the Catwoman saying from Batman the Animated Series, and this gorgeous Mondo, just like the certified Mondo right there. Here it is, the box, lined up with the past Batman the Animated Series, the first blue Batman, which we will take a look at in just a second as well. But sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is the brand new Mondo Toys Batman the Animated Series 1/6 scale Catwoman action figure. Of course, here's the tray real quick. That way you can see everything that this figure has. This is the deluxe version, so you do get 3 Catwoman heads, but the extra bonus was that you were getting a unmasked Selina Kyle head as well, and you do get some great renditions of her cat Isis, Cat in the Claw. You remember that? That was like the cat that had superpowers, right? Could dodge lasers. You get show-specific accessories. You get 2 different whips. I'll show you that in just a second. A couple extra accessories that perhaps Batman himself could use as well. Multiple hands. Just a fantastic looking Catwoman. The paint looks pretty good from what I'm seeing just right now. But let's get her out of the plastic. And here she is, all standing in her full glory. This is a fantastic looking Catwoman. They have captured, it's very hard to kind of capture that animated look, the Bruce Timm style from which it based, but that head sculpt right there, that is, So you see everything lined up, hands, heads, accessories, cats. I like the subtle, the expression pack, basically, you're getting, and I love the Selina Kyle. I think they did nail it. Maybe the hair just to poof down just a little bit more, but I really like Isis the cat. I see the one that's standing, and then I saw the one that's laying down, and I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, I think I know what this one is going to be for. But let's talk about Catwoman right now. Really, really well executed. I think the paint is gorgeous. Her eyes pop, her face, the lipstick, everything is painted really, really nicely. I love the mean, like the more like, Batman's messing with her caper kind of thing, and this one's more like her sultry, seductive, kind of smiling face. Selina Kyle, again, painted very well. I think it's, for the most part, it's pretty on model. Back in the day, the old Batman the Animated Series, they went back and forth until they did new Batman Adventures, and they really streamlined it. But I think for the most part, they nailed it. She's got nice little paint nods here and there. As far as the hands go, she's got fisted hands. She's got her Wolverine claw pop-out hands, which are really nicely done, especially for this one scene. Remember that? Yeah, that was like, when I saw those hands, I was like, immediately thought about that one moment, and she does. For each hand, it is painted accordingly to her costume, so that's really nice. So you can get her in all kinds of cat burglary type poses, but I think they really nailed the type of yellow, the paint for her fingernails, and again, get her in all kinds of, she's going after Batman, she's going to swipe his arm, something to that degree. And then she also comes with open hand clawed hands. As best as I could say that, but that's good, for laying certain diamonds, jewels in her hands when you want to display her, pose her. So it does work. It looks like she just got done. And again, I like Mondo's attention to detail. It looks like it pulls right from the individual episodes for which these are based on. That's what I loved about the Batman the Animated Series one. That was just so cool. But really nice accessories, diamond. The necklace is from the Cat in the Claw. Look it up. I did. It's exactly the necklace. Beautifully recreated. She does have regular, sort of just open hands, more for holding, I guess. She comes with her satchel, again, from Batman the Animated Series, this episode. No way to attach it to her belt or anything. I really wish they would have done that, but hey, you know what? It's beautifully sculpted as well. And then she comes with item holding hands. As you can see, they're sculpted nicely, painted nicely. And these are going to be more for holding, let's say, the bat handcuffs. I love that she comes with that. We all remember the end of Cat in the Claw. Yeah, that was from them. So Batman can use those as well. She does come with these binoculars, and she does hold them. You can, you know, for the most part, get them to work when you take photos like this. It looks good, but from certain angles, it's just going to be dependent upon that. But again, they look great. They're painted nicely, very simplistic. But I think it's the cats that really did it for me. So the standing cat, or the sitting standing cat, looks good. It might be just a bit too small, but Isis was more of a small cat, so I'm going to say it fits okay. She can hold the cat just like that. It's just kind of nestled in her arms, and put all the different kinds. You put Selena Kyle's head on, the Catwoman head, whatever you want to do, but it just looks good, and I like that it came out so well. But I think it's this cat, and this is, again, from our very first introduction of Catwoman in the Cat in the Claw. Isis was just kind of furled around her neck, and then she puts them through the thing to go get the necklace through the beams and all that. It fits beautifully. It looks great. It's very interesting. This is how she's going to be posed on my shelf, you know what I mean? So it's just so classic. I think they executed that perfectly. Love to have Isis, I'll tell you that. But in terms of the whip, this is the coiled up whip. It's permanently like that. It's been glued together. There's no way to affix it to her belt. You can kind of push it so her hand kind of keeps it against her waist, which is not a bad thing. It looks good. Or you could put it around her neck if you wanted to, but it's really the open-ended whip. She's getting ready to crack it, do something. She holds it well. It's huge. It's a nice Catwoman whip, and really the poses you can execute from it all work well. It's designed well, so I like both. I just wish you could have been able to affix it to her actual belt or kind of put it around her a little bit better. But I will say this, just in kind of fidgeting with it, I don't know if it's before or after I opened it, but the whip has already started to kind of crack and break, so that's kind of a bummer, I will say that. It's not broken, it's not falling apart, you know what I mean? But it's black, it's hardly noticeable, but it's there, you know what I mean now? So I gotta be really careful, so just be sure, if you got this figure, just check it out, be careful with the whip. Now, one other thing I don't really care for, I didn't care for it on the Batman one either, is the stand for the figure. I like the Batman symbol, I think that's cool, but there's no peg holes. It's more, you get a nicely painted bat symbol, so in that sense it works, and then you stick this kind of a doll stand in it. When I pushed it down and kind of brought it up, the sides split, so I had to super glue it together so it stayed together. It didn't break, but then the plastic's not holding. I don't think this works well with this Catwoman. It's not my favorite. It works, you can kind of wrap it around her leg or something like that, but for me, it's just not my favorite stand at all. In terms of the articulation, I think that for the most part, in keeping with the seams of the animated look, she's pretty good. Her head will go side to side, and it keeps with the aesthetics of the design quality. It doesn't really look up or down all too much, and the simple head swapping is easy. I did have a fleck of paint missing right there. It's not something it seems I did. I think it was there much before, because it's when I first pulled the head off. The Selena Kyle pops in and off nicely. As you can see, the really nice animated shell shading to this figure. It goes over the ball joints as well. Goes onto each individual hand as accordingly, so it looks good. Her arms will go up to about that, just in that position, until you kind of move them up on the balls, and then they'll go all the way up. So she gets a nice range of motion. She's got single jointed, and they do spin. Her hands spin, they go back and forth. Some of the joints can be just a little bit too loose, not crazy. She doesn't have really much of an ab crunch. It's more of an ab twist. She'll kick out. She's got single jointed knees, and then she has some ball jointed feet as well. The ball joints is what I really don't care for. I think they're very noticeable. I love that they painted them. I think that deserves extra marks right there. But they're a little bit distracting. They're kind of out of place. I did like what they did with the first Batman the Animated Series figure. But overall, I think she's nicely articulated. There's nothing wrong. In terms of pairing her up with bats, she does scale rather well. She is tinier. Batman can hold the Isis cat. You know what I mean? So that's really cool. And you can get him into some crazy poses on your shelf if you really wanted to go that route. I think that overall, this figure is gorgeous. It's a knockout. They perfectly recreated Catwoman, Selena Kyle from Batman the Animated Series. No joke. As far as the articulation and really looking at this as like an action figure, I would say it's more of an art piece. This is a pose it and leave it on your shelf. Pose it every once in a while. That's what I do with my Batman figure anyways, but it's really nice. I love the head sculpts on her, especially love the Selena Kyle one. I think that they perfectly recreated the animated style, the aesthetics, the Bruce Timm look for this Catwoman figure. I'm not too keen on some of the paint rubs, some of those things, not the ball joints. They just stand out a little bit. They're not terrible, but they're not my favorite execution for putting articulation into the figure. The cats are great. I'm not a fan of the stand at all, but for Isis and everything else, you know, putting that around her neck and everything, I think that that is awesome. It shows the creativity. The packaging on this sucker is amazing. It's eye-catching. It's like, ooh, this is going to be a fancy, fancy figure. The whip bums me out. I'm going to be very careful with that. Just please be careful with yours. I hope that that helps just to kind of keep it out. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about this Catwoman figure. Is it for you? Did you grab one? Did you order one? Comment below. Let me know. Let's talk everything Batman the Animated Series. And thank you again to Mondo for sending this out to give you guys this fresh look. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, just like the old saying goes, don't trifle with the affections of a woman. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.